The following is brought to you by Wing King, motherfucker! You know what? Daniel Jacobs, he could have been the unified WBA, WBC, and Wing King champion. But instead, he was over there wearing his sunglasses at night so he can vomit up that bullshit ass Sticky's chicken, motherfucker. Wing King. The chicken that keeps on kicking even when it takes a good ass licking. What up, everybody who talks boxing, comments about boxing, and makes boxing videos? Real quick, just want to give a shout out to Boxing United. That's our Google Plus community. If you're interested in being active in a boxing Google Plus community, I suggest that you go ahead and look us up and join or ask for an invite. Also, big shout out to hashtag Comeback to Boxing. And also a big shout out to FKR4. He was actually able to get an interview with Danny Jacobs. He only got one question in. If I remember, I'll put the link in the description. But big shout out to him as well. And the Goya Bean boxing community. As a joke between me and him. But anyways, I had a very different video planned for today. Just because of my prediction, and I was pretty confident in it, and it didn't happen the way that I thought it would play out. So, but anyways, what I decided to do today instead is to, I'm still going to talk about the Triple G fight, but I wanted to cover some other things as well. So this is going to be similar to what I used to do when I did like the Freestyle Fridays, except today is Monday. So whatever. But anyways, the first topic I'm going to talk about is actually the Snoop Dogg dissing Donald Trump in his Lavender video. Normally, this would be a topic that I would have talked about on my other channel. However, the only reason why I'm doing it on this video is because last week there was an overwhelming amount of videos about this. So, being that it seems like the boxing community seemed to be very interested in talking about this subject, I'm going to go ahead and give my 2 cents on it. Who gives a shit? It's Snoop Dogg. He's not a politician. This is the same Snoop Dogg who went to Jamaica and claimed that he had a revelation that he is Bob Marley reincarnated. So pretty much anything he has to say in regards to politics is disqualified by my standards. I mean, I don't believe in reincarnation, but as far as I understand, when the whole belief is when an individual dies, then it is reborn into another being, not necessarily human. And to my knowledge, Snoop Dogg, or Bob Marley, I should say, was still alive when Snoop Dogg was born. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident when I say that. And if that is the case, then what he was revealed to him was a possession, not reincarnation. But I don't know. Why anybody would listen to a celebrity when it comes to anything in regards to politics is beyond me. Because what makes you think what is good for someone who has millions, or in some cases billions of dollars, is going to be good for the common man? So, not saying that all celebrities are only self-absorbed, but let's be honest, a lot of them are. More than 50%, I would say more than 80%, are engulfed with their own well-being and could care less what happens to you or I, as long as we're supporting them financially. And that's just the way it is. I mean, I'm a Triple G fan, but do you think I care what the fuck he thinks about Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton or U.S. politics in general? No. I don't give a damn what Triple G thinks. You know, if he were to come out and say, no, Max, no, Donald Trump is racist and misogynistic piece of shit. He no good boy. I'd still like him as a fighter, but I wouldn't give a shit about his opinion on American politics. And that's just the way it is. But, I mean, society's just in a weird place right now. When you got college students telling their professors that there's an unlimited amount of genders, and some of these professors are actually listening, actually entertaining the conversation. If I was a professor, the first question I would ask is, how the fuck did you graduate high school? Because you obviously couldn't have passed biology. But that's a topic for a different video. But all I gotta say is this: Stop putting these celebrities on such a high pedestal when it comes to serious things such as policy in the United States. The next thing I want to touch on real quick is big shout out to El Dude. I'll put a link in the description to at least one of his videos on this topic, which is Erislandy Lara. I don't really have a whole lot to say except for this. Lara is known for saying the right things and then doing something completely different. So when it comes to Lara, he could say that he wants to fight, that he has no problem fighting the Charlo brothers. And I mean, we kind of know that that's bullshit because one of them is trained by the same trainer as him. So how the fuck, I mean, at last time I checked, at least, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So that leaves one Charlo brother out of the equation. And I don't know. He says shit like this, and also that he wants to fight Triple G at 160 pounds. But he's said this before, and what does he do? He fights Matarosian. That's what he does. So yeah, I'm not confident in anything that Lara says. Until he's in the ring doing what he's saying he's going to do, I'm not really interested in what he got to say. And then on to the piece de la resistance. The Triple G versus Daniel Jacobs fight. I would be lying if I said I was impressed with Triple G's performance. I mean, I was very confident going into the fight that he was going to knock him out. And I'll admit I was wrong. I mean, I had this whole bit that I was going to do where it was going to be like Daniel Jacobs asking Triple G, if I challenge you for those middleweight titles, would it hurt? And Triple G would be like, it would be quite painful for you. You know, doing the whole Bane thing. But he didn't have an impressive performance. I didn't feel that bit would do the performance any kind of justice. It was an ugly win. Now, I don't think that Danny Jacobs was robbed. I will say that much. Now, if you feel that he was robbed, or if you feel that he, for whatever reason, should have been given the win, that's fine. We can agree to disagree. Before the knockdown, I have it a draw. after the knockdown, that obviously gives Triple G the win. And that's just simply how I see it. It was an ugly win. Now, there's a whole lot of talk about, that that he is just trying to lure in the the other competition into fighting him. I don't buy that, to be honest. I don't. I honestly think it's one of two things. Okay? I think that either his age is catching up with him, which is definitely a possibility, or he just had a bad night, which is also a possibility. But I mean, Triple G is about to turn 35 years old. It's not unreasonable to think that he could be declining. All right. But this was definitely not his best performance. It was definitely an ugly win, but I think I would just probably compare it to when Chavez Jr. fought Marcos Reyes. He won the fight. I don't disagree with him winning, but I do think that he looked pretty shitty in the fight. But that's just the way that it is. I mean, he still won. Reyes didn't beat him. And that's how I feel about this fight. I think this is just one of those cases where Danny Jacobs looked better losing than Triple G looked winning. But that doesn't mean he won the fight. And I think that's just what a lot of this robbery talk is about. I think it's that. Because Danny Jacobs looked better losing than Triple G looked winning. They want to cry robbery. And that's fine. It's like I said, you're entitled to your own opinion if that's the way you feel. But, I mean, come on now. I think if you really look at it for what it is, I think the knockdown made all the difference. I really do. Now, as for Triple G, I don't consider him to be the god of war. First off, none of these men are gods. They're men. I would prefer to call them kings among men, because a king's power can fluctuate. You can look at Napoleon and Hitler. I know Hitler wasn't a king, but he was a man in power. And those are two men whose power became, at one point was at an all-time high, and at another point became an all-time low. So power can change. And this could be the beginning of Triple G's power declining. But like I said, it could be, just a bad night for him as well. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. I actually would like to see a rematch within the next 3 months. Within the next 3 to 4 months. Because whatever happens in that rematch, I think will really tell us whether or not he's declining or not. But I think I agree with blood boxing. I don't think we have many more years with Triple G fighting. At least not being competitive. I think those days are numbered. But I still like him. I'm still a fan. I'm just keeping it real. But anyways, I don't have much more time, so I'm just going to go ahead and end it here. Please feel free to leave a comment. What do you think? Do you think Danny Jacobs was robbed? Do you think that Triple G did good? Do you think he looked bad? And feel free to comment on Snoop Lion, dumbass, and and a lot of the other dumbass. But y'all be easy, be blessed, peace.
I am so authentic, I'm so authentic. They tryna figure me out, but this is not a gimmick. Hi, yip, hi. Don't act like you don't know me. What? We got the same mama. Don't you try to disown me. I'm just a mixed breed. Call me a day walker. Cause I walk in the sun, but at night I'm a stalker. If you looking for blood, come run in my lane. The vein never runs dry, there's plenty of it, man. I speak an ancient language, they don't understand me. It's called the truth, I break it down, they try to reprimand me. Miss Lauren, she spoke it, they tried to revoke her. They drove her crazy like Morgan Freeman did to Miss Daisy. I am